Okay, welcome back to the Are You Strong show. Man, I'm pretty jacked up today. I have probably my favorite guest coming on. I haven't told him that yet, but this guy was my quarterback my years playing at the University of Maine, and he graduated school. I don't know if the record's still there, but as the all-time leading passer, went on to have a 17 season coaching stint with Maine, working his way up to the assistant head coach, then got the tap on the shoulder to be the head coach at Old Dominion for 13 seasons. 13 seasons and turned that program into a perennial powerhouse. And then took a little break and now is the head coach at Tennessee Tech. In his first season, won the conference championship. Tennessee Tech, unbelievable. Has two kids, right? Derek and Drew, who are both college football players, right? And I think one is coming back to play for him. I don't know if we're allowed to say that yet or not. And he's in the state of Maine Athletic Hall of Fame. Welcome to the show, head coach Bobby Wilder.
Hey, thank you, Jeff. Good to be with you. Excited.
Yeah.
Love what you're doing. I think this podcast is outstanding. It's
Cool.
tremendous. And made time for you, Jeff, on a big recruiting weekend because this is go time
It's
right
go
now.
time. Well,
It is go time, but I'm excited to be with you,
yeah.
Jeff. Thanks for having me on.
Well, Bobby, I can't tell you how much I appreciate you taking your time out of your day. And I've been watching your first inaugural season, man, and what a season. You had some big bumps. You go down there, you play Georgia, the biggest school out there, right? And then you probably took a bump or two, but then you come back and you win and you win and you win and boom, you got the conference championship in your first season. How the heck was that?
It was exciting, thrilling. It's good to be back. I hadn't been in it for 4 years, and then long story short, we start the season 2-5, and boy, now all those emotions are coming in, those feelings, what's going on here, and
Yeah,
we stayed the course. We developed this mindset when we were 2-5, when we were down, when we had a lot of guys hurt and things were going wrong. That everybody grab a shovel, jump in the ditch, and start digging.
yeah,
And that mentality of just keep your head down. And boy, this is a dirty job. It's not fun being 2-5. Everything feels bad, everything feels
yeah,
wrong, but just keep digging. Just
yeah,
just keep digging. Don't stop digging. Just keep
right.
digging. It's a dirty job. Nobody wants to do it. It's not fun, but let's all dig. And that mindset and that mentality led to players willing to do anything to help the team be
Yeah,
successful, whether it was a guy who had never been a L4 on the kickoff team or had never been an inside guy on punt return. All of a
yeah,
sudden, coach, I'll grab a shovel. Let me do this. I'll help. So turning it around, winning those last five, we ended up 6-2 in the league, which is why we shared the title with some other teams. Unfortunately, at 7-5 overall, we didn't get selected for the playoffs. At eight
right.
and four, we would have been in, but at 7-5, they wouldn't take us. And just so proud of everybody associated with this program of
Yeah.
grabbing a shovel and jumping in the ditch
And,
and
and
just
digging.
digging those last five
I,
weeks.
I tell you, that's a really cool team motto. Keep digging. Now, how did you develop that?
It was a feeling at 2-5 that was necessary. It was a feeling and I'll shorten this story down and give it to you. So we come back from playing Western Illinois and we lose our third game in a row, a team that we were favored to beat. We lose 37-21. And honestly, it wasn't really that close. And everybody was just emotional, upset, finger pointing, just a lot of anger
Yeah,
because this program, Jeff, when I got hired, hadn't had a winning season in 12 years.
I'd say a long time.
This was a program, and you remember back when we were at the University of Maine, we got that thing rolling under Buddy Tevens, God rest his soul, and now
Yeah,
Maine is gotten a lot better. You look at Maine the last 40 years since
yeah,
we were there, and there's championships in there, there's
yeah,
playoffs in there. So this program hadn't felt that. This program was down. And there's a lot of reasons why that we're changing, not just
yeah,
on the field, but off the field. Um, but that sunk back in. It sunk in to the core of the players that had been here. It sunk into the support staff that had been here. Here we go. We're 2-5, and we had a come to Jesus meeting. I
Yeah.
pulled everybody in. I said, "Look, here we go. We got 42 days left. There's
Yeah.
5 games or 35 days. I'm sorry. There were 5 games, 35 days. I said everybody's being evaluated, including me.
Yeah.
Everybody has to decide how much do they want to be a part of this, who wants to stay." So I gave them that feeling of there's inevitability to this. Sure, I'm 2-5, but do do I want to get fired? You know, I've been fired. I was fired as a head coach. Here we go. We got 5 games. We got 35 days, and it shook everybody into this sense of, all right, boy, I better grab a shovel.
Yeah.
I better do my 111th if I want to be asked to come back next year. And sometimes you need that reality. Sometimes you need that not only as a leader, because I put that on myself. I told everybody I'm being evaluated too. You know,
Yeah.
president's looking at me right now. The AD's looking at me. You know, did we hire the right guy? You know, I pointed to all my assistants in the back. Did I hire the right guys? Pointed to all the players. Do you all want to be here? You know, there's options. Go to the portal. You can leave, or everybody grab a shovel, jump in the ditch, and let's get this thing turned around. And there was no question in my mind that that meeting that shook everybody to the core. We needed it. I had to put it on myself as the head coach to say, look, I'm not doing a good enough job. I'm going to grab a shovel, and everybody has the option to join me,
Yeah.
and they did, and we were able to turn it around.
I mean, you know what you did? You just raised the bar, you raised the standard, you set the tone that we're not going to accept what happened around here for the last 12 years.
Exactly. And that theme you just mentioned, raised the bar. Now it's I don't know if you can see it. I've got this.
That's the
Here's
trophy, baby.
the championship trophy that
That
we
is
got
awesome.
from winning it. So when you say raise the bar, Jeff, that's not good enough now. It's exceptional. We're excited. We won that. We're proud of it. Everybody's going to get a championship ring
Yeah.
was part of this. So, but that no longer is um, what we're aiming
That's
for. Now we're
expected. That's
aiming
just expected.
Yeah, now we're aiming for the national championship trophy, and that's a tremendous standard. Don't get me wrong, winning a
Yeah.
conference championship, wow. There's 9 teams that are they're fighting for it, trying to
Yeah.
win it.
Yeah.
And to win it, and even though we shared it, it's still exceptional. Well, to your point, raise the bar now it's the national championship trophy. Now that's the next
Yeah.
goal. We're trying to raise the bar to that. That's a really good standard, proud of that. But if you're going to raise the
Yeah.
bar, you got to go for the national championship. And what I've been talking to the president about, the athletic director, the alumni, and our organization is 11 of the last 13 national championships in FCS. 9 have been won by North Dakota State, 2 by South Dakota State. They're both still playing today. They
Yeah.
play today. They're in the
Yeah.
Final Four. The West Coast runs FCS football now. Didn't used to be like that. You know, used to have Richmond and Villanova and
Yeah.
James Madison had won national championships.
Yep.
You know, Towson played for one. When I was at Old Dominion, the 2 years we were in the final 8. So, but now it's gone to the West Coast. And what I've shared with everybody in our organization, Jeff, is this. If we're going to win a national championship, we have to build an organization and build a team
Yep.
that's similar to the Dakotas, that's similar to Montana State, who's the #1 team in the nation right now.
Yep.
And you got to do 2 things. Number one, you have to be able to run the ball. And number two, you have to be able to stop the run. Well, we were #1 in our league in rushing offense. We were #2 in the nation in rushing defense. So the baseline is being set.
Right.
Foundation of the house, if
Foundation.
you will, is being set. And what we're working towards here at Tennessee Tech, the ultimate prize is the national championship. In order to do it, we're going to have to go west. We're going to end up having to go west to play.
Yep.
And the goal is to build a team that can beat them. So I'm glad you brought up raise the bar.
Yeah.
That's raising the bar right there.
But I'll tell you, the president you mentioned before, the president, you're being evaluated. He must be so. Is it a guy or a girl? The president of the school?
It's a gentleman, Phil Oldham is
Bill.
his
Okay.
name, the president who he's quite honestly, he's the reason that I took this job when it
Yeah.
was offered because when I interviewed Jeff, it was a year ago. I was actually here on December 4th last year, and I had done my research on the program, knew they'd lost 12 straight years. I've been doing this long enough to know exactly what the problem was.
Right.
So my evaluation when I came here is what's the solution? When I met with him, went into his office. We were supposed to have a 45-minute meeting. It lasted almost 2 hours. And the first thing I noticed was on his workstation, there were 9 sets of blueprints. And when I asked him about them, he told me about the projects. And I said, okay, that's a guy I want to work for because
Right.
for a president, 9 different projects means state legislation. It means community legislation. It's nonstop on the phone. So Phil Oldham is the number one reason I'm here, and he is
Okay.
100% behind this program.
He's got to be jacked up, conference champion.
Very
Now
much jacked up.
I forget which game I was watching, but they're blowing up the stadium, right? They're redoing it.
Yeah, the east side of the stadium, long story short, the stadium's about 65 years old, and the east side is remaining. That's our functional side, locker room, training room, coaches, locker room equipment, all
Yep.
that's on the east side. And then the west side has been torn down. It's a 2-year project, tear down, rebuild, same location, $50 million project with all the, suites
Wow.
and
Cool.
amenities and seating, brand new locker room for the football team. So the president has certainly caught my attention with his
Yeah.
aggressive mindset on building a championship
Right.
program.
I think, Bob, that's got to be half of the battle as a head coach. What knowing that the president of the school buys into the athletic program, because
Correct.
some schools, their presidents don't.
No,
They
I
push it
tell
aside.
all the younger head coaches that I mentor now, um, the two key people you have to evaluate are the president and the fundraiser that's
Mm.
assigned to you. And everybody says, "What about the AD?" And I say, "No, that's not. Certainly, you're going to have a working relationship. That's your boss. You're going to organize
Yep.
schedule, and there's details of budget and those things.
Yep.
But your two most important people in your life to keep you from getting fired are the president and the fundraiser that's assigned to you. And what I mean by that is the president sets the tempo. He drives the
Yep.
bus. If he's into football, you got a shot. If he's not, it's not going to work. And then the fundraiser, because now with collective name,
Yep.
image, and likeness, your ass better be on the phone and you better be in a car and you better be at luncheons and you better be raising money
Yep.
or you're not going to be able to support your efforts in recruiting and
Yeah.
retention. And then your ass is going to get fired. So those two people, and I got two really good ones, so I got a shot to hold on to my job this time.
That's good. So talk about that for a second, Bobby. The NIL, man, the transfer portal, it's the college landscape is completely different today. If we go back 40 years ago when you and I were playing, transfer portal, who was doing that? NIL, there was nothing. But it's just like the last couple of years where thing is blown up. So as a head coach, how do you handle that? How do you deal with the kids today that they're in the mindset, if I'm not playing, I'm out?
Yeah, you've got really two choices. There's two avenues you can take as a head coach. Number one, over here to the left, you can bitch about it,
Yep.
and then you're going to lose and you're going to get fired. Or number two, you can go this way, embrace it, do everything from a functional standpoint you need to support it, and then you got a shot to win. Now, personal philosophy, um, I'm all for the student athletes in any sport receiving additional compensation if they've earned it. And here's what I tell people, Jeff. Nobody turns on the game on a Saturday to watch my ass coach. They turn the game on to watch the amazing
Yeah.
athletes on the field,
Yeah.
and we all marvel at them. I've got a front row seat. I marvel at what I see every Saturday.
I
I just
bet.
look sometimes and go, "Oh my God, how
Yeah.
did he do that?"
Yeah.
The athleticism, the competitiveness, and that's why people view. And then from a global picture, you take, for example, I'm in Southeastern Conference territory down here, Tennessee Tech's, Cookeville, Tennessee. Here's Nashville, here's Knoxville. We're right in the middle. So Nashville's got Vanderbilt, Knoxville's got the University of Tennessee.
Yeah.
Tennessee's got 110,000 people every game,
Yeah.
national TV audience, the Southeastern Conference TV contract for football, 65 million a year. So they're getting $65 million a year for their games to be televised,
Yeah.
ESPN, ABC. So you got all this money, you got 110,000 people coming to a game at a profit of $7 million for a home game. They play 7 home games. There's another $50 million. So there's 150
Tons of money.
million before a ball's been kicked in the air. How in the God are those kids not getting some of that compensation? I say
Right.
kids, they're young adults, but you know what I mean.
Yeah.
So I'm all for the fact this happens now. I'm all for
Right.
the fact that we can do it. I'm all for the fact that Bobby Wilder, head coach at Tennessee Tech, and my coaching staff and the fundraisers, we can do as much as we want with effort and attitude to have money for name, image, and likeness.
Right.
I'm all for that. Now, eventually, the bigger schools, the SEC, the Big Ten, they're setting the tempo. At some point, it's going to be capped. They're
Yeah.
working on a number now. It could be 22 million. And
Right.
last thing I'll say about it, Jeff, before if you ask me another question, it's fine. We played Georgia week 2 this year. Right, they're the #1 team in the nation at the time.
Yep.
93,000 people, Sanford Stadium. We're 45-point underdogs. And I made this point when I was doing an interview with their media. Georgia's collective this year was $20 million. That's what they had to pay their football players.
Yeah.
Our athletic department budget at Tennessee Tech is $17 million for 15 sports, for all the administration, for all the functions we need to do. So the gap now is insurmountable. It is so big. And
Yeah.
back in 2004, when I was offensive coordinator and quarterback coach at Maine, we go down to Mississippi State and beat them.
Yeah.
They
Yeah.
had 85 scholarships, we had 63. Well, nobody was paying anybody, so the gap wasn't that big. Now the gap is insurmountable, and I'm working with the president, athletic director. We're changing our scheduling model here. We played 2 FBS last year to raise $800,000 to pay bills, and now the point I've made to them, let's fundraise, let's do some other things.
Yeah.
So we don't lose our first 2 games and get 12 kids hurt like we did just to raise money, because we're playing teams that we can't compete with athletically, physically. We're going to get hurt.
Yep.
So that I'm all for it, but you got to be able to stay in your lane a little bit
Yeah.
now.
You gotta do it right. It's just
Mm.
like when Maine went down to Oklahoma this year. You saw that, right?
Yeah,
And they held pretty tough for a little bit.
sure.
And then
Yep,
they
they
kind
hung in there. They,
of went out.
they ended up giving up almost, I don't know, I think it was somewhere between 400, 500 yards
Yeah.
rushing.
It was a
And,
lot.
and just the size, the Maine's D linemen like ours, they're
Yeah.
260, 270.
Yeah.
And then you're looking at Oklahoma's offensive linemen or Georgia's offensive linemen. They're 320, they're
Yeah.
330, they're
Yeah.
6'7", they're first, second round draft choices.
Yeah.
It's
And
the
they run like
physical
deer.
mismatch, and then you get players hurt
Yeah.
because it's this guy playing against this guy.
Right. Yeah. It's nuts. So Bob, you show up Tennessee Tech day one. What was the toughest challenge you had to start to build that culture?
Mindset. Everything was mindset.
Yep.
There's such a losing mindset that permeated throughout the campus and the community when it came to the football program. So for the last 12 months, my #1 focus as the head coach has been to get that aim high philosophy instituted with everybody associated with the program. And Jeff, what I mean by aim high, it's our program philosophy. It's on the front of our helmet.
Yep.
Those 2 words are right there. Players' helmets. It's every day from the moment our feet hit the floor in the morning until our head hits the pillow at night. We're working to be the best we can be at whatever we're doing.
Yeah.
I don't care if it's sharpening a pencil, opening a door, lifting weights, having something to eat. I'm going to try to be the best at whatever I'm doing. I'm going to make that task important.
Yeah.
And it's still a challenge here. It's still, we got to turn this because it's 12 years of losing. And now we just had a championship season
Yeah.
that might get everybody to aim high. And there are 5 pillars to a championship Division I football program. And the 5 pillars, the foundation, are who touches the players every single day, who comes in contact. So #1, the assistant coaches, the coaching staff. #2 is the strength coach. #3 is academic support. #4 is the medical, whether it's trainers, doctors, anybody with the medical. And #5 is the equipment staff. Is that at some point every day when a Division I football player is on campus, he's going to come into contact with those people. So the number one goal I had from the moment I was hired was getting all five of those pillars all speaking the same way. So
Mm,
here comes Jeff Durr, defensive back. He's a freshman. He comes in. Everybody he comes in contact with is giving him the same message. So Jeff Durr's going, okay, I'm from the moment my feet hit the floor in the morning until my head hits pillow at night, I'm supposed to excel at what I'm doing. I'm
yeah,
supposed to give great effort. I might not always succeed, but the expectation is great effort. The
yeah,
expectation is PMA, positive mental attitude. The expectation is to help those around me in any way I can. The expectation is to go to class and yes sir, no sir, yes ma'am, no ma'am. So getting that instilled within the organization with the five pillars, that's a work in progress, but it's coming. It's really starting to happen. When I did my exit interviews, I call them individual player development meetings with all 110 on the team, and review their just aim high, person,
yeah,
student, athlete, and review that PSA, person, student, athlete. And I'm talking to the kids about their life and school and football. Everything I'm getting back from them is positive feedback from their experience. So that tells me the five pillars are
it's
working
working.
together. It's like the pistons in an engine. It's got to
Yeah,
work. The engine's not going to run. So it tells
yeah.
me the pillars are working.
Now your young man, I think I forget his name, who turned on your computer when I was logging in.
Jimmy Laughlin,
Yeah,
DFO.
yeah. He was what you said before, like yes sir, no. He was yes sir me, yes sir, yes
Yeah,
sir. And I was like, are you from the military or what?
yeah.
He was like so polite, so I'm like, oh my God. So
Yeah,
that,
that's
that
the
you're driving
organization.
that deep.
Yeah, having that, and Jimmy Laughlin's one of my favorite people. When I got hired, I wasn't sure if I was going to keep him. He was a DFO, and
Yeah,
when you come in new, whether it's you in the corporate world or me as a coach, when you come in new and take over an organization, who am I going to keep?
yeah,
Because when you take over an organization that was losing
yeah,
and the previous coach was fired, there's a reason why the organization was losing. So you got to come
yeah,
in and evaluate. You got to do
yeah.
it quickly. And wow, you talk about a guy just what you said, yes or no, sir.
Dynamic.
Competent, dynamic, played here, was an
Yeah,
excellent safety back from 2011 to 15. He had gone away a little bit, came back, had been here a couple years as DFO. And
yeah,
for those that don't know what a DFO is, Director of Football Operations, if I'm considered the president of football, so to speak, the DFO is the vice president.
yeah,
So he's the right hand man. He's constantly helping me with task and
yeah.
organization and fundraising. And, for every hat I wear, he wears the same hat.
That's
Uh,
great.
it's exceptional. So yeah, I'm glad you picked up on that, Jeff, because
Oh,
that's
it was instant. As soon as he's
that's the
like, "Yes, sir,"
organization.
yeah, good morning. I'm like, "This isn't normal."
Hmm.
That's a good kid. So let me
Yeah.
ask you that, Bob. The When you were hiring your staff, what were you looking for when you were out evaluating the guys that were already there? You said there was a
Yeah.
losing mentality. It was really not a good history. What
Right.
were you looking for, and what did you find when you saw him?
Yeah. The very first thing that I've learned, and this is through experience, I made some mistakes at Old Dominion that, in terms of hiring and who I had, that led to my firing. So I learned some really good lessons. Is number one, the most important thing you can do in hiring, whether it's a coach or anybody in the organization, is you need to feel good as the leader about the relationship.
Mm.
What is my relationship going to be with that person? And what I decided to do this time around, Jeff, I said, I could care less competence level. What do they know? I can teach them what I want them to know football wise. I want to be around somebody that I enjoy coming to work with.
Yeah,
I want to be around somebody that has my thought process, mentality, personality about positive mental attitude and attacking every day and just energy and enthusiasm. That's who I hired. Everybody on the staff is that way. And it's amazing what you can accomplish when number one, your people have a good attitude,
yeah,
and number two, they can deal with adversity. Because those are your two biggest things that come up, especially when you're leading young people. You know, what's your attitude? Number one, because their attitude is going to reflect yours. And
sure.
then what do you do when adversity hits?
Yeah.
Because adversity, Jeff, it defines everybody's
Oh
character.
yeah. And you hit it every
You and I
day.
right now having a good conversation, and
Yeah.
the lights are on, and we got heat and all that. Well,
Yep.
bang! What all of a sudden if a tornado came to either one of us and we had to react to it?
Right.
That defines who we are.
Yep.
So that was the number one thing, Jeff, when I look to hire somebody is, are they a good person? Are they somebody that I want to be
Yeah.
around and interact with? And I'll warn anybody that takes that and says, "Oh, okay, I'll just hire my friends." Don't do that.
No.
That's not what I mean. I'm not at all
Yeah.
saying go hire your friends. I'm
Yep.
saying hire people that you look at their resume. Sure, they're competent. That they're an
Yep.
expert in whatever they're doing, whether it's a quarterback coach, defensive back coach.
Yep.
But what's your interaction with them? What's your sense?
Yeah.
Are they a family person? Are they single? If they're single, why are they single? How many jobs have they had? I interviewed one guy had been at 17 places in 15 years. I just
Ugh.
talked to him on the phone. I said, I liked him, brilliant. I said, there's no way I'm hiring this guy.
Yeah.
He's always looking for his next job. I don't
Right.
want the guy who's always looking. Sure, I want my people to be successful. I've got a couple guys that are interviewing, and I want them to be successful. I hope they stay, but God, if this helps their life,
Yeah.
but boy, just good people
Yeah.
you enjoy coming to work with and
Yeah.
handle adversity.
Bobby, I say that all the time here too when we're hiring guys. I look for synergy, likability, and
Mhm.
commonality.
Yeah.
If I can put those three things together and they have a great track record
Mhm.
and they're committed with a great attitude, it's like a perfect relationship.
Jeff, I'm so impressed with your ability to use the four-syllable words and just line them up right there. That was really good.
Yeah.
That's the Jeff Durr I remember from playing college football. That's the smart guy in the back
I don't know
end.
about that. I don't know about that.
No, I couldn't agree more with what you just said.
Yeah.
It's so important
Yeah.
that when you're building those relationships, and I'll give you an example. So Jeff Durr is my defensive back coach. I'm the head coach, and the players see us on the practice field, and a moment happens, or something that happens. Maybe we were doing a drill. You're supposed to stay off the ground, and the DB knocked the crap out of the wide receiver. Well, how does Jeff and the head coach, how do we react? How do we handle it?
Yeah. Right.
And the kids feel that because there was instant adversity that nobody knew was going to happen. Nobody meant for it to happen. And the players seeing how we respond. Well, if you hire somebody that's can handle adversity,
Yeah.
you work right through it. It's on
Yeah.
to the next play. Everything's fine. Quick,
Yeah.
get up. Hey, just be careful. You do this, you do that, whatever, or pull this guy out for a rep.
Yeah.
If you have those things coordinated, the players see it and they respond to it. And ultimately, the whole reason you practice is you get into a game and there's adversity every single play.
Yeah.
How do you handle it?
Yeah. You know, so let's talk about mental challenges. When you and I were playing up in Maine in the tundra of the freezing cold, right? And the world has changed. How did you see as a coach? Like your career has been really cool. You go from playing right into coaching.
Right.
You've been around the game your entire career.
Correct.
Talk about the changes you've seen from you were a GA at BC, I think, right?
Correct. Yeah.
Right. And then you go back to Maine and you spent a long time there,
Mm,
and you worked your way up. Like you could have been the next guy, but I guess, the wasn't in the cards,
right.
and you took a shot and you at a new program at Old Dominion, you turned that thing into something special. And then you come into Tennessee Tech, you're going to turn this thing into something special. Talk about the change in landscape of college football as from a coaching perspective, from a player, I go into a GA at a big school, come back to my alma mater, spend a long time there, go out and start building your own programs.
Yeah. What's interesting, Jeff, what's happened is in the realm of the treatment. You think about how we were treated as players when we played. It was common a coach could grab your face mask
Yeah.
and he could yell at you. It was common a coach could make you do up downs and until you got sick. It was
Yeah.
common that you'd be out there for 3 hour practice, and an hour and a half into the practice, you were allowed to all go over to a table and get 1 cup of water and a salt tablet. And hydration wasn't allowed. That was a toughness thing.
Yeah.
And now we're in the day and age where we've grown exponentially from the knowledge of the treatment of players, the mental health aspect, which I believe in. I truly believe in because you and I experienced it.
Oh,
There's people out there that are experts with a doctor in front of their name who don't know it like we do because we lived it. So
Right.
being someone who went through that when we were players to
Yeah.
now where I am as a coach, and I had to learn how to transition from that. From that, you had to be really hard and tough, and you had to yell at a player to get them to perform. I had to transition through learning and had some really good head coaches that helped. Jack Bicknell was the head coach at Boston College when I was a GA, and this is back in the days of Doug Flutie
Yeah.
and success. And he went on to the World Football League. The Barcelona Dragons won the first ever
Yeah.
NFL Europe championship. So really good coach, good mentor, had a very good way about himself, his presentation. And then
Yeah.
I go back to Maine, and Kirk Ferentz is the head coach. This is 1990, and had the opportunity to learn from Coach Ferentz. He was there 90, 91, 92, and learn his style, which was very unique. It was different from Jack Bicknell, in that Kirk Ferentz he was an offensive line coach. He had to get his hands on, that position and coach them and be involved. He loved that aspect, whereas Jack Bicknell was more of a CEO. So I learned the contrast there. And then with Jack Cosgrove, I was with Jack became the head coach in 1993, and I was with Jack till 2006. And then his style was, again, more CEO, very organized, very detailed.
Yeah.
Everything was purposeful, had a plan. So I learned that from Jack. And then when I got my first head coaching job at Old Dominion, I had all those styles to learn from. And the whole time I'm doing this, Jeff, from 1989 when I was a GA, 89 and 90, got my master's at Boston College, to Kirk Ferentz, to Jack Cosgrove, all these coaches from 89 when I started to 2007 when I got the head coaching job. The game just transitioned. It was an
Yeah.
incredible, just a metamorphosis of all these things that we really don't have time to get into, but in terms of
Yeah.
how players were treated. And then all of a sudden we learned, Jeff, that, hey, wait a minute, you can have a strength coach. You can have an expert that's what they do,
Yeah.
as opposed to a position coach like we had, who's
Yeah.
trying his best. He's trying to teach you
Yeah.
how to do it. And then, oh, wait a minute, you can have a not only a doctor, but a physical therapist and multiple trainers. And okay, wait, now we have academic support people. Wait, we have people that actually help the players,
Yeah.
tutors and a plan for, okay, let me put a resume together, and then here's some jobs you can get when you graduate. So all this metamorphosis happened in those years. And then when I became a head coach, Jeff, it was at Old Dominion, it was to start a program. So it was 26 months from the time I was hired. We had to build facilities. We didn't have facilities. Had to hire coaches, recruit players, get the five pillars in place.
Yeah.
So that became a CEO job.
Yeah.
I had to go from being a quarterback coach, offensive coordinator, to, wait a minute, I can't do that anymore. I'm not going to have any
No.
time for that. I've
Yeah.
got to become a CEO
You had to build a whole organization.
and build an organization. And we did a great job with it. Everybody, I mean, you talk about grabbing a shovel. Everybody at Old
Yeah.
Dominion did, because we started out, we went 9-2, 8-3, 10-3,
You
11 and
crushed it
2.
down there.
Yeah, we were 46-10 in our first five
That's
years
incredible.
before we transitioned up. But I had to become a CEO then. And the treatment of players started to transition. Now it was, okay, there's not only full scholarships, but okay, now you got to pay for summer school.
Yeah.
And now you've got to add this thing called cost of attendance, is relative to, okay, what's it cost for Jeff Durr to drive from New Jersey to Maine and back 5 or 6 times a year? Well, Jeff's got to be compensated for that. And then, wait a minute, he's got to be able to, take his girlfriend to the movies once in a while, so compensating for that. So now all of a sudden this cost of attendance comes in, and this was Old Dominion. The cost of attendance at Old Dominion, the school, was $3,000 a year. So all 85 players on scholarship got compensated. Well, there's another $250,000's got to be raised.
That would have been nice if we got that, huh?
Exactly. And that all this happened, this transition. So it went to cost of attendance, Jeff. And then in 2020, based on this massive lawsuit, this $2.8 billion lawsuit, now all of a sudden here comes collective name, image, and likeness.
Yep.
So now Jeff Durr, defensive back at Maine, has got Vinny's Sub Shop back there in Jersey, one of his famous Italian sub shops, that wants
Yep.
to sponsor Jeff Durr. So
Yeah.
Jeff Durr's name is on a website. Vinny's Sub Shop goes on the website, clicks on Jeff Durr, makes the donation. Now Jeff Durr's got that money coming in monthly. Jeff Durr's a 1099 employee. Here comes that money, and then Jeff Durr once a month has got to post things on his social media about
Yeah.
Vinny's Sub Shop, put things on. So from 1989, I just gave you the whole. Here we
Yeah.
go to 2024. All
Crazy.
of that happened, Jeff.
And then you got to hit the transfer portal in there too.
Transfer portal, which I'm doing today. I've got some players that I'm getting ready to meet with. So what happens now, Jeff, is December 9th was the day that the transfer portal officially opened.
Opens. Yeah.
I'll use you an example again. Jeff Durr's defensive back at Maine, all conference player, thinks he can do better. So December 9th, you put your name in the transfer portal, which is a national database.
Yeah.
So you could go on your computer right now. I could go on, we could look up every name. There's 6,000 names in the portal. And Jeff Durr puts his name in, and then Jeff Durr says, okay, here we go. And all of a sudden the phone starts ringing. People start DMing you on Instagram or Twitter. Hey, this is Coach so-and-so. We're interested, want to talk. So then Jeff Durr gets on the phone and says, okay, what do you have to offer, sir?
Yeah.
Well, we got a full scholarship and your NIL deal will start at 25,000. Then Jeff Durr says, okay, I want to visit. And then we pay for Jeff Durr to
Yeah.
come to Tennessee Tech on a visit. You look around, person, student, athlete. What's it like? Okay, what's that NIL deal? It's 25,000. Great. Okay, I got another school coach that's offering me 50.
Yeah.
Can you match that? Okay. No, I can. Okay. Well, then Jeff Durr hops on a plane and goes to the other
Yeah.
school. So it started December 9th. Tomorrow, Jeff, is December 22nd, Sunday. It goes quiet. So that means Jeff Durr can be on our campus tomorrow. But then we got to get him home before midnight tomorrow. That's quiet period. That's
Yeah.
one day, the 23rd, or the 22nd. I'm sorry. Then Monday, the 23rd, it's dead at 12:01. And what a dead period means is you can't be on our campus. We can't come see you. Basically, the NCAA said, all right, you coaches, you're all idiots.
Yeah.
Go take a vacation.
Yeah. Yeah. Now,
Go
does it
see
open
your
back up?
family.
But does it open back up or no?
Yeah, January 1st. I think it's January 1st, either the 1st or the 2nd. I got it on my wall here, Jeff. Let me see. January, where is that? All right, I'm in January. Dead. Yeah. Yeah, it's still dead on the 1st, and then
Right.
then it comes back open. So then there's a period, Jeff, that it comes back in January, and I'll show you how this works so people can understand. So our players report back January 15th. They start class the 16th. Then you have a week of add drops. So right around the 23rd or the 24th, that's it.
Done.
Nobody else can enroll at Tennessee Tech
Got it.
NCAA eligibility-wise football. So when
Mhm.
that thing opens back up, Jeff, on January 2nd, it's a sprint to finish off the recruiting class before that last day of add drop
Yep.
on the 24th. And everybody in America is in the same boat,
Yeah.
based on when classes start and what you're doing. So you're trying to put together your roster as quick as you can off the portal. We're also very mindful of the high school players. There's
Right.
296 high school players we're tracking right now that we're recruiting. So the way it works now is unlike when you and I played, it was all high school.
Yeah.
They were high school. Here's the February signing day.
Done.
Everybody's excited. Well, now you've got this portal time where you can sign them from December 9th all the way up to the last day ad drop. You can sign players.
Yep.
We'll be emailing out scholarship offers today, and the kids will sign, email it back, or here we go. So we get through this phase, Jeff. Then it's all these high school kids that we're looking to sign in February, right? We sign
Yeah.
them, and then they'll enroll this summer, similar to how you and I did it back in
Yep.
the day. Well, then
Yep.
there's another portal period, opens up April 15th and goes through May, and we'll be aggressive then. So last year, Jeff, I'll close with this. So had 55 players return from last year's team.
Yep.
We added 55 new players to this team
From the portal.
from the portal in high school. Okay. When you and I got recruited, there were 25 to 30 players
Yep.
came
Coming
in.
in.
We were all high school. So it allowed us, it was hard work, it was nonstop, but it allowed us to have a championship this year.
Yeah.
Back in the day, you've got to take over a program, and then your first year,
Four
you get
or
your ad
5 year
picked.
build.
And your second year,
Yep.
you're going to be a game under 500. Your third year, well, now you can win a championship right away if
Now.
you do
Yeah.
it right. So we took last year, Joe, we took 14 players in this period, this December, January portal period, got them enrolled for the spring. Then we took 23 high school players. And then when the April, May portal hit, we took another 18. So we took 32 out of the portal, 23 high school, 55 brand new players. Half
Jesus.
our team this year was brand new. And that's what's going on now in college
That is
football and others.
crazy.
It's not just football, it's every sport. It's so transactional. Your
Yeah.
roster changes every year. And like I said at the opening, you can either bitch about it or
Yeah. Or
you
deal
can
with it.
embrace it.
Yeah.
We've chosen to embrace it. We've chosen to build the five pillars, which the
Yeah.
presidents support. We've chosen to work our asses off and get on the phone. Great line from what's his name? What's his name? Belfour in Wolf of Wall Street. Pick up the phone and start dialing.
Yeah.
I mean, that's it. You
Yeah.
have to do that. You have to embrace that,
Yes. Right.
or you're going to get run over, and eventually
Right.
you're going to get fired. And I don't want to get fired again. So I'm going to pick up the phone. Was it Vincent Belfort? Was it Vincent?
Jason.
Jason
Yeah.
Belfort. Thank you.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Hey, get him on your podcast.
Yeah. That'd be nice, right?
Pick up
So
the phone and
pick
start
up the
dialing.
phone and dial. Your wife's
Yeah.
sleeping, and pick up the phone and dial.
You're late on your rent.
Yeah.
Pick up the
Pick up
phone
the
and
phone.
start.
So, so Bobby, how do you think, if we go back to when we were getting recruited, like you said, the coaches, Scladani, remember Scladani?
Oh yeah, John Scaldani, legend.
He would ask me, what do you think you bring to the team?
Mm,
He asked me that
yeah,
question.
yeah, absolutely.
Like now they don't, it's like now the players, like, what are you giving me? Why should I
Yeah,
come here? I'm like,
yeah,
wait a minute,
yeah.
it's a whole nother world.
No,
But
hey, what you just said, John Scildani, absolute legend. A lot of coaches on that staff we had,
oh yeah,
legendary coaches.
Tim
But to
Murphy.
John's point, what do you bring? The question that I asked myself, first and foremost, and our players and coaches, what is your value to
Yeah.
the organization? And then just shut up and listen. And you'll be shocked at some of the answers you hear. So these 110 IPD meetings I had with the players, individual player development, first question I ask, what is your value
Yeah.
to the organization? And you have to train people to think
Yeah.
that way if you
Yeah.
want to be around unselfish people.
Right.
Just ask that question, and whether it's your business or anybody who's going to listen to this, ask anybody that question and then just shut up and listen, and you'll be shocked at what you hear. What is your value
Yeah.
to the organization? And it's gotten to the point where the kids are doing really good with this. They're really starting to
That's awesome.
grab onto it. I'm starting to get more of those answers that, hey, just give me a shovel, coach. Just
Yeah.
what
Keep
what
digging.
can I do? What is it? Tell me what you want me to do,
Yeah.
because I want to win another one of those. Everybody here is getting a ring. That hasn't happened since
That is
2011. So
that is so cool.
yeah, when you ask what is your value, when you train people, they'll start to think that way. When I wake up, what am I doing today to bring value to the organization? And then a big one, Jeff, you talked about, you just brought it up a minute ago about, okay, collective NIL. Well, my philosophy is if you can train them to say, what is my value? Then you put in a very detailed, organized system on how they're rewarded
Right.
for bringing value. What is the system in place? So Jeff Durr is working his ass off for his company and hasn't seen a raise in 10 years. Well, if Jeff Durr is really good, Jeff Durr is gone. He's
Yeah.
gone. He's going to get recruited or he's going to do something else. Same with me. I just got a raise and an additional year on my contract. I signed a contract last year in December. It was 5 years. Um, we win a championship, and the president and the athletic director will reward me with another year and a raise. So they recognized the value, and I'm bringing value not only with football, but promoting the university,
The whole school.
the whole school, promoting the
Yeah.
school, promoting the growth of the school, the president's directive. So that's what I try to share with the assistant
Yeah.
coaches and the players. You find a way to bring value, you're going to be rewarded.
Yep.
And the people that sit around and bitch about it,
Right.
that complain and yeah, I'm not getting this, I'm not getting
Yep.
that, or this is going on or that's going on, that you just end up in that spiral because then
Yeah.
you go get another job and you bitch at that job.
Yeah.
So
I
just
tell people, they get what they focus on. You focus on being
Mhm.
miserable, that's what you're going to get.
Yeah,
But you know what, as well as I do, Bobby, that a university, it goes as far as the football team goes.
correct,
The football team does really well. It brings recruits.
no
It
doubt.
brings recruits to the school, but it brings traditional students as well for the attendance.
Yeah,
For
I heard
games
something, Jeff, from this president, from President Oldham, and this is why I'm so excited to be a part of this man's vision. Um, President Oldham said this to me. We were talking, he and I talk on a regular basis. We were talking, it's during the summer, and we were talking about establishing a winning football program, winning culture, how it could help the university. He wants to grow it from 10,500 students to 15,000 students. That's his vision.
okay.
And I'm so excited to be a part of something bigger than myself, being part of his vision,
Mm.
being part of the growth of this university. Jeff, this is the #2 ranked public institution in Tennessee. And
Is it?
there's some really good educational schools here. It is an outstanding school. People come out of here with a degree and have tremendous success. And he made this point to me this summer, Jeff, that blew my mind. He said, for every one football player, it adds 7 students
Right.
to the university population. So
Yeah.
to your point you just brought up, value to the university, winning football,
Right.
even more value to the university. And that's what he wants. His goal, he's at the latter point of his career, just like I am. And he and I are in lockstep
Yeah.
on what football will bring to the university and what his goal is. And
Yeah.
now all of a sudden, people in the community, local businesses, Jeff, they're going,
Yeah.
wait a minute, you're going to add
Yeah.
4,500 students. That's more revenue. That's
Yep.
more housing. We're part of this Nashville sprawl here. Nashville's the third fastest growing city in America. We're 70 miles away and it's sprawling to us.
Yep.
Businesses, population in Putnam County, which is 75,000 people, is 2% every year, which is incredible. That's,
Yeah.
it's growing, it's
Booming.
constantly growing. And he sees that. And then the community leaders see that. And this guy, President Oldham's tying it all in together. So when I say being part of something bigger than myself, I'm
Yeah.
motivated every day when I come in. I see what he's doing and I want to be part of that. That's a
Yes.
big picture plan that I've never been part of anywhere I've worked before. I've never seen a president say, here's why I want you to win. Tell me what you need because it's going to help the university do
Yeah.
this. And
That's got to be for the president of the school to say, tell me what you need
Mhm,
versus, hey, here's what I want you to do.
exactly.
It's got to be like so refreshing for you.
And I had said earlier when I'm telling younger coaches who are either currently head
Yeah.
coaches or want to be one, the president and the fundraiser.
Yeah.
It's those two people. Either you're going to get a contract extension and a raise, or you're going to get fired
Yep.
based
Yep.
on those two people. Because from a football standpoint, Jeff, the top two things I have to control: the schedule. Okay, who are we playing? Well, this year
Yep.
we open at Middle Tennessee, who's they're FBS, they're G5, so
Yep.
we're here, they're here, and then we went to Georgia. So we start
Yeah.
out 0-2. Well, that's not a successful model, so we're getting that changed. We're no longer playing two FBS. We're
Now,
tied
do you have control
contract
over that
next year with
schedule?
Kentucky that so we got to play one next year out of 12. This year we played two. So schedule, that's your number one job as a head coach. You better be able to control the schedule. And I
Okay.
didn't. My last couple of years at Old Dominion, we're playing Virginia, Virginia Tech, East Carolina, and then they asked me to leave. So schedule number one, and
Hmm.
then number two, you better recruit and develop a good quarterback. I don't care if it's the NFL, college, high school, middle school. Anybody listen to this podcast, or even you, Joe, you look at any team, if they have an elite quarterback, they win.
Yep.
All of a sudden, Andy Reid's a genius, right? They fire him in Philly. Well, he's got Patrick Mahomes. So
Hmm.
now Andy Reid's a genius. Look
Yep.
at Bill Belichick, greatest coach
Yeah.
of all time. He had Tom Brady.
Yeah.
Who's the head coach at North Carolina? Couldn't get another NFL job. So
Yes.
I'm smart enough to know, and my ego is small enough to say schedule and quarterback.
Mm.
Taylor Heineke is still, he and I are still really close. He was my quarterback at Old Dominion. He's been in the NFL for 10 years. We get together, play golf.
Yep.
He's with the San Diego Chargers now as
Yep.
backup. Well, I like to tell Taylor when I give him a hug and I say thank you every time I see him, he starts laughing now. He's responsible for 3 of my raises. Okay. It wasn't me being a genius coach.
Yeah.
I had an elite quarterback.
He
So
executed your plan.
yeah, that's
Yeah.
and this year our quarterback got hurt in the first game and
Yeah.
we were 2-5, and that's why we were 2-5 to start the year. The quarterback got hurt.
Yeah.
Then he came back healthy and we ripped off 5 in a row. So smart schedule, elite quarterback, elite president, elite fundraiser leads to a happy life.
And a big smile, right?
And a
So,
huge smile. I
so,
got
so Bobby,
everything right now but the quarterback. Our quarterback just had surgery, so he's got to get healthy. And then I'm meeting with a couple of them here shortly that are on
are
camera.
you recruiting any Jersey boys or no?
Yes, there's a couple of kids by way of Jersey from another school.
Other
So
schools?
yeah, I don't mind a little Jeff Durr Jersey like toughness
Yeah, yeah, we'll take
in
that.
some young men. Yeah, hey, you gotta have some ditch diggers.
Yeah, you gotta have that, right?
You gotta have
Because
some.
you look at Maine, Maine's becoming like a portal for Rutgers. A lot of Rutgers guys are going up to Maine.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's boy, it's unfortunate what Coach Stevens is going through. It's, as you know, it's such a hard place to
Oh
live,
yeah. Oh yeah.
number one, and then your transportation.
Yeah.
If you're coming from Jersey, you're driving anywhere between 500, 600 miles in that northeast
Yeah.
corridor, which is
Right.
brutal. So you remember, Jeff, we always referred to, and we embraced this at Maine. We were the last stop before the bus stop. We were
Yeah.
the misfits.
Yeah.
Well, now you get good players up there, and they're going to get paid, and they're gone.
Yeah. Yeah. Which is crazy. So a couple more questions. I know you're pressed for time.
Give me one more if you would, because I got a kid waiting for me outside.
Okay. Just on the mental side of things, Bobby,
Yeah,
you know, looking at when we played, looking at the BC time,
yeah.
looking at your coaching stint at Maine, looking at Old Dominion, and now, how have you seen the mental challenges evolve for these young athletes coming into the game today?
That's a great question. It is the pressure is a little different, Jeff. The pressure is different for them than it was for us. So 40 years ago for us, it wasn't the pressure from our parents or family to make as much money as we could.
Right.
We didn't have that pressure. The pressure we felt from our family was just to play, to be on the field, to start, to play, perform. They were coming to see us. Now the pressure they have, Jeff, is not only the expectation to play, but the expectation to play well so they can earn more money.
Yeah.
I've got a young man that I'm meeting with this morning. Um, Pressure, so much pressure from home for additional compensation. So now he's wrestling with, wait a minute, I like
Mm,
playing football and I was an all conference player and I'm really good. And now it's, hey, you got to go get more money. You got to go ask coach for more money, because I lost my job and I need you to pay for this. So the
oof,
point I'm making is your parents and my parents weren't thinking Jeff or Bobby can pay the rent and
right.
keep the lights on. Now you've got parents with these 18, 19, 20-year olds saying, I need you to go get more money from NIL so you can pay the
Pay
rent.
the bills. Wow.
Yeah, and I'm not asking for any pity from anybody for
Yeah.
college football players, because there's
Sure.
plenty of 18 or 19 years old out there right now with a shovel in their hand and a
Yep.
ditch just trying to survive. But
Right.
the point is, what they're feeling is different than what you and I felt.
It's a
You
whole nother
and I
level of
felt pressure to
stress.
play.
Yeah, the stress is just is just magnified.
Right,
You
right.
know.
Because now there's money, and money changes everybody.
Oh
It
yeah,
changes
money
everybody.
money matters. It's unfortunate and fortunate that money matters, right? And like you said, when we were playing, hey, you got a
Pick
full
up the
ride,
phone and
beautiful.
start dialing.
Start calling people. Well, Bob, this has been great. Anything I haven't asked you yet? Do you think we should hit just before we wrap it up?
You did a great job. You asked good questions, Jeff. I'll give you a lot of credit. You're a really good listener.
Well, I appreciate that.
Exceptional job by you with that. The last thing I would say is family, family matters.
Yeah.
Obviously, your family, my family. I'm so fortunate. I've got two sons. Derek, my oldest son, played for me at Old Dominion, two undergraduate degrees, a master's
We
degree.
want to get them on the show here, both of them.
Yeah, I have my master's, so the fact he has that, I'm so proud every time
Yeah.
that even comes out of my mouth. And
Yep.
he was a really good player. He finished his career playing defensive end, transition from linebacker. Started his senior year, was a captain, honorable mention all conference. Really good place in his life right now. And then my youngest son, Drew, had a journey from the Naval Academy to Thomas Nelson Community College to Iowa Western Junior College to Eastern Illinois. Just the journey. Derek spent all 5 years with me. Everything just worked out. And the younger brother, boy, has he had to overcome adversity. Well, he just graduated last week from Eastern Illinois.
Hmm.
He was second team all conference in our league this year. Dad had to coach against him the last
That must
eight
have been
weeks.
crazy.
Yeah, it was hard not to just watch him.
Yeah.
But he was starting center and he played 1,500 snaps the last 2 years, which is an incredible number for a center. That's an average of 60 snaps every game of this every
Yeah.
single play. So he's up in Wisconsin recovering with his girlfriend right now, but he's transferring here in January. He's enrolling into our graduate program of project management. He'll play his last year for me. So the fact, Jeff, that and our sports information's researching this, they're having a hard time finding out if I'm the only Division I head coach ever to coach both of his sons at two different Division
You
I
have to be. You have
schools.
to
Yeah,
be.
we're trying to we're trying to figure that out right now. But oh God, I just feel so blessed and fortunate and to be able to have done that and
Yeah.
have my son share in the experience. And then a line I like to use, Jeff, is, use football. Don't let football use you. So they've used
Mm.
football for life lessons, for education. They're both going to have advanced degrees, which you and I both know, Jeff, the increase in job opportunities from that.
Oh,
So
yeah.
so much that's been gained, and I've been fortunate enough to be able to share it with them, just to be a small part of their experience and to grow with them and learn. So I like to tell people, Jeff, I'm 32 years into my college coaching career. I still haven't grown up. I haven't looked for a real job yet.
You're still smiling.
Every day is like this. Every day it's up at 5 a.m. and hey, here, let's go. And it's changing and, somebody's waiting for me. And hey, then I get a phone call and it's controlled chaos and I love it. It's a blast.
And keep doing those videos.
Yeah. You like those?
Oh, those are
The
great.
life lessons?
Yeah, those are awesome. Those are
Oh yeah,
awesome.
those are fun. We try to, pick different themes and
Yeah,
and
yeah,
then
those are
roll with
good.
it. Yeah, thanks for
Well,
thanks for noticing.
well, Bobby, this has been great. I appreciate you taking the time and what you're doing is just so cool. It's amazing. And the impact you're having on so many kids. They're
Yeah.
turning these young kids into men, into leaders. It's incredible.
Thank you, Jeff. Future Leaders of America is what we subscribe to. That's what we're developing. Future
That's
Leaders of America.
well, you
Hey, let's do it again sometime.
keep building that and go win another championship.
You got it, buddy. Let's do it again. Have a great holiday to you, to all your listeners. Have a great holiday, and let's make 2025 even better.
You got it, man.
All right, buddy. Take
Go
care.
get them, Bobby. Bye now.
Thank you. See you.
See you.